So usually when we talk about finding your voice, we treat it like a creative construction project. We assume we need to go out, invent a persona, and just build something completely new from scratch.
Right, like we have to build it brick by brick. But the research we're diving into today argues that this whole premise is backwards.
Yeah, it basically says we're looking at it all wrong.
Exactly, it frames it as an engineering error. We think it's about invention, but the source material is adamant that it's actually about excavation. Your voice isn't missing, it is just buried.
And those layers burying it aren't just abstract ideas. The text gets really specific, identifying them as imitation, habit, and, well, this big one it calls the approval filter.
That filter is the primary blocker for most of us. Before we even speak, we unconsciously run this little simulation in our heads. Like, will this be approved? Will people like this?
And the moment you do that, you're shaping your sound around fear rather than reality.
Right. The source actually calls this compression. You are physically and mentally making your voice smaller just to fit into this perceived safety zone.
Which brings us to the physical side of this, which I found fascinating. The section on somatic markers points out that the body signals that compression before your brain even registers the fear.
The specific cue to watch for is breath tightening. It's not just normal nervousness, it's a biological brace mechanism.
That your body's getting ready for a hit.
Exactly. If your breath gets shallow or catches, your nervous system has switched from connection mode to protection mode. You are literally bracing for rejection.
It's so wild that the biology precedes the psychology there. So if we realize we're stuck in that protection mode, the text suggests a pretty counterintuitive tool to dig ourselves out.
Yeah, it isn't about, practicing speeches in the mirror.
No, it's about intentional silence.
The pause. And this is so difficult because silence feels dangerous to us. We usually just rush to fill the gap to prove we are engaged or smart. But the argument here is that the pause is the absolute only place where your actual tone can surface.
Because if you react
We
instantly,
are performing.
yeah.
If you pause, you are referencing internally.
And making that shift from performing to referencing internally, it requires doing three things that the source admits are really uncomfortable. You have to allow the pause, you have to tolerate the imperfection of your speech, and the absolute hardest one, you have to stop over-explaining.
I mean, that urge to over-explain is basically a tax we pay for our insecurity. We try to justify our right to speak.
But the source points out that doing that just dilutes the message entirely. When you strip away the justification, that's when you start building internal coherence.
Which leads to a crucial distinction the text makes, right? The difference between loudness and clarity.
Yes, clarity does not shout. It resonates.
Internal coherence means your words match your reality. You aren't trying to persuade the room, you are simply reporting your perspective. It asks this great question: what do you notice that others overlook? That is your voice.
And there is a very clear metric for success here, and it isn't getting a round of applause. It is the ability to tolerate disagreement without collapse.
That's the graduation point.
Yeah.
If your voice is just a performance, disagreement feels like a bad review of your acting.
Right.
But if your voice is just an honest report of your internal state, disagreement is just data. You don't fall apart because you aren't using the audience to prop you up anymore.
It stops being a sales pitch and starts being an actual connection.
And you start trusting that what remains is unmistakably yours.
So here is something for you to test this week. Since the source emphasizes that silence is the tool for excavation, think about this. If you stripped away the need to defend your ideas or the need to just fill the silence today, what is the one thing you would actually want to say?